Time for Ask the Mayor on KWBE, and in for Mayor Bob Morgan today is Beatrice Public Properties Director Mark Pethoud. Mark, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.
Thanks for inviting me.
A lot of things going on we can talk about in the city of Beatrice today. One of the things, 70 degrees yesterday. It's been in the 50s and 60s. It's not like the polar vortex of 3 years ago or something like that.
Yeah.
Does that change kind of stuff you can get done? Or do
Yeah, we've kind of moved to the outside now. We've been working on, we had to repair some playground equipment. We've been out on the trails repairing some holes out toward Cortland in that area. We started doing some grading out at Hannibal on some of the stuff that we left last winter. So, we've been outside this whole week, so it's been kind of nice. I think the guys enjoy it.
I think most of the time when it's cold weather, I mean, you have maintenance of all the buildings you have to do, the daily things too, but you're kind of relegated to more of that, aren't you, in a typical
Yeah,
winter?
I mean, so the guys, like in the winter, we have projects like this year. We remodeled one of the offices at the auditorium for the new IT office upstairs. We remodeled the bathrooms downstairs at the auditorium. Food pantry donated the money to that, so we provide the labor for that. So we had a couple projects to do this winter, so...
Yeah. We're going to talk a lot about that in a little bit because that's been a busy place, the auditorium, lately. We'll get into that in just a little bit. A couple things just past Christmas. I really didn't notice it as much, but how did the Christmas tree recycle?
We roughly recycle about 155 to 160 trees out of that, so it's pretty good.
Typical, or is it?
Yeah, it's been pretty typical, yeah.
Yeah.
So
basically closed now, so don't drop your tree off.
Yeah, don't drop your tree off.
If you haven't by now, it's more of a fire hazard,
right.
So got to chip it up yourself. Or what happens to all those trees?
They chip them up, and then we use the mulch for around Christmas, around our other trees that are in the parks and stuff.
Yeah.
So
okay, how are the parks doing in the winter? We've been through a real dry period where we saw the snow in January, obviously, but that doesn't amount to a lot in terms of liquid moisture. But how are things going?
Pretty good. Trees look pretty good this year so far. It looks like some of them are starting to bud out a little bit. Stuff's starting to grow pretty good. Wow. So, which sometimes that ain't good right now. You don't really want your trees budding out right now. So
then get one more big freeze or one big snow, and then that takes care of that.
Yeah.
So, but how, as far as the tree stock of the city, you have a lot of trees, and it's a replacement thing too for damage and things like that.
Yeah, we average about 50 trees a year to replace, and so we take down probably 15 to 20 a year. We usually do that in the fall. So
yeah. Did you see any specific disease problems or anything this year?
Not really. Yeah. No. We lost a few of the bur oaks in Chautauqua. That's we started seeing some of those die. But otherwise just, normal die.
We went through that whole emerald ash borer thing and the removal of trees on right of way and things like that, and even private property owners. How's that whole process going? We don't hear as much about it.
Well, like us in the park, we just end up removing ours all at once.
Yeah.
We did that. It's been about 3 years ago. We did that. I think we removed 180 to 190 trees somewhere around that area. Mm-hmm. I think they're still doing it on the streets. The street department's still working on that right now. I
hadn't heard how the ash borer had expanded, or if it had at all. I think it started in Michigan or Wisconsin or somewhere around there. Is it including more states now, or have you heard anything?
Really, I haven't heard much. I think it's in Nebraska now, so it's in different counties. So I know they had some of it in Omaha area. Mm-hmm. So.
It can be kind of an expensive proposition depending on how you approach it, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, we took it as that, we were going to leave some. I think we left a few at Scott Street ball fields just because they were mature, and otherwise we had no shade because that's all we planted back in the early 90s. So. And so we left, I think there's about 5 or 6 of them down there still, but they're still healthy.
Yeah.
So,
what do you plant the most of when you have to replace?
We do a lot of oaks. We do a few maples, just that kind of variety.
Yeah. Just kind of try to get some kind of, so if you do have a problem with one particular species, you don't wipe out your whole forest or whatever there. So any of the around the parks right now this time of year with the weather being what it is, any projects at shelters or repairs or things like that?
No, not right now. We did a repair at Scott Street. We had some vandalism over there on one of the playgrounds, so we repaired that yesterday, and they got to repair the matting now. We had to cut out some of that matting. So, but
seems like late last year, you had some damage at Chautauqua too, if I remember right.
Oh, the painting?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all been painted, taken care of. So, yeah. So
it's too bad you have to do that once in a while, but
the plus was that we got everything painted though. So that was the nice part.
It's not really the way you want to go about it.
No, it's not the way how you want to approach it, but I got 3 buildings painted for it,
So really a lot getting, in addition to the daily building maintenance, getting a lot done with the mild weather this time of year.
We are.
So the trails themselves, of course, they're concrete and durable, but do you see a lot of repairs that need to be made?
I know this year in the budget we do have a few places that we do got to repair. They're more just some sidewalks cracking and that stuff along. So we do got a few repairs going on. It'll be different. There's some at Riverside. There's a few out at Chautauqua, just different panels that we'll take out. I know. So I did think we budgeted about $10,000 to do some of those repairs this year in our budget. So I think it's the first time we've ever done it. So.
You also have responsibility for some rural areas, limestone trails.
Right. We got 2.5 miles south. And then we go all the way to Cortland, and so I got one guy out there right now. They were out there yesterday, and so they drove the whole thing yesterday and checked. We had some potholes and stuff from the winter and stuff, so they're out there working on one of them today. So,
I see. Is that a cost or labor intensive thing, or is just kind of do it every once in a while?
We probably go out 4 or 5 times a year. So we have some good people who ride. Joe Wilsbach helps me out on that. I think he rides a lot, so he'll text me and say, "Hey, we got this or this and that," and so he kind of keeps me in the loop. And we check it, probably about once every 2 months, but just you don't always get out there, and so
kind of a second set of eyes.
Yeah, and it's nice, and that's what the public does. They help us with that stuff. So they'll text us or email us and say, "Hey, we got this problem going on out there," and we'll go take care of it. So
every time I drive back and forth between Beatrice and Lincoln, you see quite a bit of use of that trail.
You
Is that pretty consistent over time?
Yeah, there's a lot of people who do use it. Everybody said they wouldn't use the trails, but a lot of the ones I see are using the one that go, by the recycling center and go that way toward Holmesville. I see a lot of people on that one.
Yeah, you usually see a lot of vehicles in the parking areas near Gage County Foundation Trailhead Park.
Yeah, they park there, or then they park down by the recycling center down there, and there's a little parking area down there. They park down there.
Yeah. By the way, on the foundation thing with the, what is it called? The sponge park, I guess it is there. How's that going?
Bioretention pond.
Bioretention pond, the official name. How do you think that's going to work this year? You think that's going to do
I don't know. Last year it worked pretty well. For a couple times it did rain. All the water came off the parking lot, went in there, and the water sat in there for a couple days, and then it dried up. So
now we just need rain.
Yeah.
Test it out.
Yeah.
During that really cold snap where we had the back-to-back snowstorms with 10 inches and then about another 4 or 5, I guess, right after that. That create any special problems as far as for your department, as far as repairs and things?
No,
like that? Not really.
Not really. I mean, we spent those couple weeks doing snow. It seemed like we were out there every day, and it took us a little longer this time because we had to use Bobcat in a couple areas in the trucks, and so it just took us a lot longer than clearing it with just a small snowblower. So.
Do you, as far as the trails, I know that's not, the streets are the priority, obviously, but the trails, how do you clear those?
We have a couple snow blowers with that, and then we used the truck and plow this year. We had to in some areas because we couldn't move it, so we have a truck and a plow, and so we just hopped on and away we went. And
well, it was a heavy snow to begin with, and it kind of iced over after that, so it's kind of one of those. I got asked, speaking of trails, I got asked by somebody the other day, and I know it's been discussed maybe a couple of occasions in past years about lighting them at night. I know that's a policy issue. That's for the mayor and council to discuss. But is that anything in the future, or probably not?
Nothing's come across my art. No one's ever talked to me about it lately. So it's been. I think there for a while it was, and then it kind of. People stopped talking about it.
And I'm not talking about a light every 100 feet or whatever, but maybe just here and there, whether it's solar powered or whatever the case may be.
Right.
Hasn't been discussed.
No, it has not been discussed.
Okay. Mark Pethoud with us today on Ask the Mayor. We'll have more in just a moment. Back on Ask the Mayor with Public Properties Director for the City of Beatrice, Mark Pethoud. One of the organizations you work with pretty frequently on things is Keep Beatrice Beautiful, and you have a new partner to work with now, a new executive director, I understand.
Yeah, Jerry Busey retired or moved on to Aurora, and so Ashley Snelly-Hawks became the new director. So she's been there about a month and a half now, so she's doing a pretty good job, seems like. I think she likes it.
Yeah.
So,
What are some of the things you work on together jointly, projects? I know there have been grant applications and
before COVID, we had a lot of grant applications, with Lowe's, and there was some other stuff with UPS and others but that stuff hasn't really been available now. So we worked with Xmark on a grant there that Keep Beatrice Beautiful did for us years ago. So I think she's looking for some other other grant opportunities. I know we do have the tire amnesty coming up here in August, so that's going to be our first big one that she'll do. So
that's a popular program too. That draws.
Yeah, it does.
Usually like a 200 or 300 ton limit.
Well, we have a 200 ton limit this
200
year.
This year,
yeah, is what we have budgeted for. So
is that going to be at the same area?
It's going to be the Gage County Fairgrounds. So we just haven't come up with a designated area yet, but I'm assuming it'll be that area. But I know we did talk to them, and they said that we could use the fairgrounds. So. Dates haven't been quite set yet. It'll be coming out here shortly, but we are going to have it this year, so in August.
Beatrice residents only, or Gage County?
Gage County, typically, yeah. Okay. Typically Gage County, yeah. So that's what we're shooting for. So
hard to police because sometimes people bring them in.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure
they don't really want to turn them away, but by the same token.
Right, but we're trying to open it to Gage County, so it's for Gage County. So
I see.
Correct.
Okay. We mentioned earlier in the program about the Municipal Auditorium, which is probably one of the busier places now. It's always been busy in terms of using, the basketball floor, things like that, but just the number of organizations that are taking space in the auditorium now, plus more and more different types of sports and leagues. Kind of the past year, what's that been like, seeing the growth?
It's kind of, after the fire department left, we had the whole basement open. So, the food pantry did a remodel. They've moved in, so I think they've settled in well. CASA moved in early February. Mm-hmm. And then just here recently, Mother to Mother is going to open up Youth Center sometime in March, like that first week in March, second week. So they've taken up the rest of the basement. We remodeled an office upstairs for the IT office, so they'll be moving upstairs here in the next couple weeks. And then, we got Keep Beatrice Beautiful there, Main Street. Mm-hmm. So basically now we're full capacity now, so it's kind of nice to see.
Yeah. The Mother to Mother project, how's the renovation going on that? What's basically taking place there?
Basically, they kind of knocked out some walls, that kind of stuff, opened up space so they can see, because they were small offices and stuff and that, and so they were small rooms, because one was the old housing office, engineering office. One was the old engineering office downstairs, so it was just kind of... So they opened up some walkways, did some upgraded some electrical, put some new lights in, that kind of stuff, fixed the carpet, did that, and so yeah.
Yeah. Big change for the auditorium this past year, new scoreboards, and you had a plan, I think, to do refinishing of the floor?
Well, refinishing the floor will become in April. So when additional to that, so we'll paint all the new basketball court lines, volleyball lines, and then we're going to add 3 pickleball courts. Yeah. To it, so that'll be the new addition. So right now they're just taped down, but now they will be permanent. So
how do you do that color wise? Because you look at courts and there can be all kinds of lines there, and obviously you want to keep the basketball thing where players know where the boundaries and things.
Right, like the basketball will be black, and you can use the volleyball can be white, and then the pickleball could be orange, or vice versa. Yeah. So you just peg it. It's kind of different. I looked at the guy that sent me a thing from Fremont YMCA, and it's pretty crowded.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it'll be a little confusing at first, I think. But
right before we went on the program today, you were talking about how often that auditorium floor is used. What's the traffic like during an average week?
Every day right now, we have pickleball. Not quite right now because it's nice out, so they've been outside. But, during the winter, we had pickleball. And then, then we had middle school basketball after school. And then right now we've got high school soccer in there. And then we've got youth soccer in there. And then we've got basketball. We've got cornhole on Wednesday nights. We got basketball Friday nights, and then we have groups using it. This weekend we had a group, they had cornhole in there, and then we had the youth soccer league was having a referee thing in there, so they used that. Mm-hmm. So we've had some youth. We had wrestling in there on Friday night. So, yeah.
Are you the one that has to go down and lock it every late night?
No, we got automatic locks now. So
I see.
Yeah, so we've got, and then we have a staff that works till 9:00 at night. So, so everything's automated now. So,
but it's basically being used from about mid afternoon.
It's about mid afternoon till about 9:00 most nights. Yeah. So, Saturday night not as much, and Sunday night, but when it was cold, they were in there on Saturday and Sundays playing pickleball, and then once in a while some youth basketball would have practices here and there, and so. Yeah.
Now, is that all? No cost, or do they kick in some money to help out with
we do have some, like the pickleball, they pay us some, the cornhole pays some. The youth, we just kind of let the youth use it. Yeah. But like if we have an event, we charge for the event, so accordingly. So
yeah. Well, weather kind of put a dent in the Mudecas tournament this year, so you didn't really get the scoreboard workout.
No, we didn't. And we got a new scoreboard last year, LED, and we got the score clocks in, and we got some new matting around the back of the area for where the players are at. Murphy family donated that in memory of Jordan, so that was a great addition. Kind of cleaned that up, made it look nice.
Yeah. In addition to all the sports events there, you have a lot of organization or club events too. I know the railroad.
Railroad has their train shows.
In there.
Yeah.
There'll be wedding shows and things like that.
Yeah, we've had some stuff there. Main Street's hosted some fun events in there too. So I think they have some open events for the city there when they have their stuff.
Yeah.
So
structurally, the outside and everything, how's the auditorium doing? That's one of those works projects administration buildings from long
so
ago.
far pretty good. I mean, we did some tuck pointing a couple years ago. We got a new roof again last year because of storm. So we got a little bit of tuck pointing to do on the west side of the building and then on the north little area at some point in time. But
from the hail, is all the roof work finally done for the city? Do you still have some left?
We've still got one they're working on, the fire department still. Wow. And then they'll have to come and do the Carnegie this spring. But otherwise, we'll be done.
Yeah. I think there was some airport work, too.
I think they were doing some airport work out there. I think they're finished, though.
Yeah. What about the library?
Library's all done. Yep.
All done. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, you guys are organized. You get
it's all done in 1 year, so it's good for another 20 years, we hope.
Just hope for no more hailstorms
for a
while. Yeah, it was a tough time there for a couple of moments there. 8:48 is our time, and we'll be back with more on Ask the Mayor in a moment. Back on Ask the Mayor today with Beatrice Public Properties Director Mark Pethoud. Big focus of recent months has been Hannibal Park, and you had the situation where the city contracted with a firm to help raise money to help out with sponsorships and things like that. If I recall correctly, I was thinking somewhere around 400,000 or
somewhere around that area.
So, has that any more out there maybe coming in, or has that kind of run its course?
I think it's kind of I haven't seen anything come across for the council meeting, so I think it's there'll be some eventually they'll come across again. I
think it's going to be Hannibal Park. Powered by Pinnacle Bank. And then you have the other sponsorships in. Who does all the signs and things like that? Well, is that your department?
No, Amanda's working on signs right now, so then we'll install them probably. So I think she's working on them as we speak probably, getting them ready and stuff. So, but no, we did some improvements last fall. So we did get 4 and 5 are all done with a netted system, and we've got sidewalks now connecting everything to 6 and 7. And I know they're going to be working on some parking here this fall, and then we've got some drainage things we're going to work on at the end of kind of when our tournaments are done in July. We'll have that to do, and then we'll try to get that done before the high school season. But we were out there yesterday working, grading, and doing some dirt work and stuff. And so,
is that for the new field kind of in the center?
No, that's for field 5 because we moved field 5 out so we could get a walkway in between 4 and 5. Because before, if you remember, 4 and 5 were pretty close. We had about 10 feet. So now we've got a 10-foot. ADA accessible sidewalk down to 6 and 7, and you can get to the parking area and stuff now.
How far are you away from the nightly leagues and the weekend tournaments? And
I know
like
the college starts their first game's March 1st out there, and then I know their first tournament is March 29th. So I just put that on the schedule yesterday. So
not too far away.
No, we're probably about 35 days away. Yeah. So
they probably wish it was now because such great weather. You can
right. I know they did. They've been practicing every night. I know that because I've been getting text messages. Hey, can you turn the lights on? So I know there's teams out there. So
a lot of people still use the tennis courts there, or do you see much traffic there?
Not as much traffic as they used to. I mean, high school still uses it a lot. I think all those people are playing pickleball now.
Yeah, so. It's like the sport of the moment. There's something that comes along, and then it kind of.
So, but if you go over to Chautauqua, you can see, like yesterday, we went down there about 2:30, and there's probably 10 or 12 cars down there already. So, they're playing.
Yeah, that's been popular. So. But what a great kind of repurposing of those courts, because for a long time they were kind of concrete tennis courts, and
they
just really got no use.
Well,
at all.
I don't think anybody knew they were up there, so that was one thing. So they're kind of hidden up there with with the tree line there, and so nobody really ever used them. The only people that used them was the high school when they had overflow for tournaments.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great use. We were able to already have existing stuff that was there that we could use to create the pickleball courts, kept our costs down.
Yeah. Back to Hannibal Park, any big things coming up this year as far as new projects there?
Parking lot will be that's going to be the new one. Engineering department's working on that. So
now, where is that? Is that the west side of the park?
That'll be the west side of the park, kind of. Okay. Yep.
So would it take out kind of where the...
There's a shelter down there in that area. Yeah. So that shelter will be removed and stuff. But that shelter, we didn't reshingle it or anything when they had the storm. So it's been there since the early 70s, so it's time. So because we put that new one in the middle there, so that kind of took the overflow from there. So
with the changes out there, as far as restroom facilities, you're pretty much set there, or will you be adding things?
We're looking at adding another one kind of over by 6 and 7 in that area. That's kind of the plan. So
I see. Okay.
It's in the master plan. So
What do you think the economic impact is of all these tournaments during the year? Because you see a lot of people coming in. I mean, just from all over.
We do. We just got to get our tournament numbers up. We're a little down right now.
Oh, are you really?
Yeah, I mean, compared to where we were, 5 years ago. So, but I think they're working on it. They're getting back to. We'll get it back to going again. They've got, I think, 7 or 8 tournaments scheduled. So, we lost our state tournaments a couple years ago to Omaha, and so. That kind of hurt us when we had those because we used to get like a 10A or a 12B and that kind of stuff, and so we had at least 15 to 20 on those weekends, but we kind of lost those. So,
are other towns looking at doing similar upgrades to try to draw away tournaments, or do you ever take a look at that?
Well, I mean, you look at like York, they did that $8 million facility out there. Papillion just did a new one. So like Lincoln's doing that one on 77 at Optimus Field, but it's all turf now.
Wow.
So the infields are all turf, so kind of interesting.
Yeah. It's always somebody out there. It's kind of an arms race after
a while.
It
is.
Yeah, that's for sure. Ball fields at Westcott. Anything's going on out there this year? Or what?
No, we don't have anything planned. So just there are a couple tournaments, and then we have the leagues, and Wire Eye plays out there, and then the Bullets will play out there. So, they got their all upgrades. We did those about 4 or 5 years ago. We got the road closed, and we got the sidewalks in, did the playground, did the shelters. For years we didn't have any shelters out there. So
that's true. Yeah,
we did theirs all kind of, within 2 or 3 years right away. So.
Yeah. And you hope for no more floods because that creates a whole separate thing.
That does. So we don't want floods.
Yeah. When the canoe launch was placed down there by the river, and then they put that sort of flap in or that drainage area thing. Really haven't been able to test that out yet, have you? There hasn't been enough.
No, we haven't had enough water.
I wonder how that will work in terms of access.
I think people use it, but it's just not. Yeah. It's a nice fishing hole. I see people fishing on it all the time down there. So
maybe weather gets warmer, you'll start seeing more and more traffic.
I think we just need some rain. And get the river up.
Yeah, it's been a little bit low. It's been good for eagles fishing down there, but that's about it lately. But they're quite a ways off, about 3 months off from the start of the water park season. But condition of the Big Blue Water Park and anything that goes on this time of year, anything there?
We got to do some slide repair on one of our slides. That we had some issues last fall. So I know we have that on our schedule. We were redoing the floor in the women's, men's restroom facility. So, but otherwise, no, pretty good shape. So
didn't you had kind of a repair with the there was a leak, was it last year or the year before? I was trying to remember, near the entrance or something. I can't remember.
Nothing I can recall.
Okay. Well, I was thinking about something where it didn't cause any delay at the park opening, but it was kind of I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. But rates. Any idea about where you'll head this year?
We're working on that right now, so we'll probably go into council here in the next. It's not probably the end of the month, March. We'll be going to the March meeting with that and stuff. So
now you kept the city's kept them pretty stable for years and years.
Yeah, we have, but now with minimum wage going up to 12, and that's going to be, So we're going to try to balance it out. We're going to look at it and see what we can do.
You can only field so many cost increases every
year.
You
do. You're not going to make money on it just because it's a pool, it's a service. So, but you don't want to just take a total loss on it. So,
how early do you start kind of lining up lifeguard?
I met with Donna last week, and so we're working on a handbook. Got that ready to go. Take that to council, and so I met with her, and she sent out the letters to the guards. So we're starting to work on it. So just got to start thinking about it now. So instead of later.
Well, it won't be that long,
I know
Memorial Day weekend.
Memorial Day weekend. We'll start working on it about May, and
Any other just informal discussion about long range for the park in terms of you have all that land kind of to the east?
I think more will come in 25. I think
more in 25.
Yeah, I think that there'll be some discussion.
Yeah. Still got to pay off a fire station.
Fire station first,
So that's got to be fairly. I can't remember what the timetable is on that, but it's maybe halfway through or something.
6 or 7 years, maybe. I'm not sure on that part.
So. And that was a big project, but
it was needed though. Yeah, it was needed.
Yeah, it's been a great improvement. Plus, it opened up all that space in the auditorium, so it was a win-win situation for everybody all around. So the back to the auditorium on the food pantry there, how has that worked out for them in terms of?
I think it's worked out great for them.
Yeah.
I mean, they have a garage door, they can back truck up. Seems like they have a lot of volunteers that show up, a couple days a week and help, and But they're busy. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people in there working.
One of the big things was getting it all on one level. Basically.
Yeah, and that's what it was. Yeah, I think so. I think that's worked out for them really well, and they got a lot more space than what they had. They doubled their space. Yeah. So
okay. Anything else going on in public properties these days that you got coming up in the next 2-3 months? Or
no, pretty quiet. We're looking at maybe some playground at Astro Park this summer. So that's kind of one of our projects coming up. So
was that grant funded, or did you just do that out of your own?
It was grant funded, but we didn't receive the grant. So we're looking at kind of moving a couple of projects and seeing if we can get that thing moving forward. It's been 4 years that we want to get that done. So we're gonna. So we did the splash pad, and so. Some of that playground equipment's kind of outdated, so we're going to try looking at putting a new ADA set in with rubber matting and get rid of that sand and kind of clean it up.
I'll bet you're hoping for no problems with the splash pad this year in terms of...
I'm hoping. Yeah.
Everything seems good right now.
It seems like we're good, yeah. So we're ready to go, and hopefully...
Part finally came in. And,
knock on wood. Yeah. So I don't want to go through that again.
But. I think so. The normal opening time is kind of right around the water.
Yeah, right around Memorial Day.
Yeah. So
we kind of try to keep it with the same as the pool. So if it does and we get it open earlier, we'll let the public know. But that's usually kind of Memorial Day, and then we try to go till that third week in September. It's kind of when temperatures get cold. Once temperatures get cold, it kind of goes downhill. It's real fast.
God, with all this going on, how big of a staff? It's not. You don't have that big of a department.
Right now there's just the 3 full-time guys and me, and then we have about 4 guys that mow, and then we usually have about 5 or 6 part-time people. Yeah. That's usually our staff.
Some seasonal help that.
Yep, seasonal help. Yep, we got guys that only drag out like at Scott Street and Hannibal, so that's their jobs, and so yeah.
Okay. Mark, thanks for coming in today. Appreciate it.
Yep, thank you very much.